What's up, everybody? It's Greg. Welcome back to another video here on the Living in Salt Lake City, Utah channel. In this video, I'm going to talk to you about the 7 things you must know before moving to Salt Lake City. If you still decide to move here after watching this video, then get in touch with me. My information is here on the screen. I absolutely love it when you guys reach out saying, Greg, I'm relocating to the area and I need help buying a house, so please help me. I've had people all over the world reach out to me about making that move here to Utah. As we jump into this video, I know you can appreciate my honesty, and since I'm not from Salt Lake City, Utah, I can give you a great perspective on what it's like to really live here from someone who hasn't lived in Salt Lake City their entire life and has nothing but good things to say about the area and has no clue what it's like to move across the country with 3 kids and a dog to a brand new city, Salt Lake City. Well, to Riverton, but you get the point. Number 1 on my list is the outdoors, and you have things like snow skiing, snowboarding, ice fishing, cross country skiing, snowshoeing, snowmobiling, 4x4ing in the snow, camping, fishing, hiking, waterfall hikes, which are my favorite thing to do. I've done a number of them, and I absolutely love hiking a few miles in and seeing this cool waterfall, and then a couple miles back. It's just awesome. You have mountain biking. Basically, you can do any sort of outdoor sport here in Utah except things that require an ocean, since we don't have an ocean. You even have 5 national parks that you can visit, which is the 3rd most of any state in the nation. You have California has 9 parks you can visit, Alaska has 8, and then Utah 5, and then Colorado 4. So you got 5 parks that you can see, and they all are incredible, and I highly recommend you take the time and go visit them. Number 2 on my list is the weather, and we have all 4 seasons here in Utah, so this may be a huge positive for you, or it could be a negative if you hate the winter or you hate the summer heat. But let's cover each season so that you get a good idea of what we go through here as someone that's not from Utah. So in the springtime, so far in the springtime, spring has been an amazing time of year here in Utah. It's not hot yet. It's anywhere in the 50s to the high 70s, maybe low 80s. Definitely hasn't touched 90 degrees. So it's nice in the spring. Everything is starting to bloom again. The snow is starting to melt. So you're starting to see the mountains without a bunch of snow on them. The rivers are all full of water, and the amount of flow out of them is a ton. So I'm sure that any water sports you want to do on the rivers in the springtime is amazing. I don't think the fly fishing is the best just because the water is moving so fast. So you're going to need to wait a little bit on that. But some of the lakes open back up that you can't get to go fishing at or camp at because of the snow or ice that's on them. And then that leads us into the summertime, which I'm looking forward to this year because we had such a cold winter this year and so much snow, but just all the different hiking that you can go do and outdoor things from, your camping and just everything that you want to do on water or land that requires it to be warm. And since it's a dry heat, even though it's hot, it doesn't feel like it did when we lived in Nashville with the humidity. So that is awesome. It's one of my favorite times of year is just to sit outside in the summer once the sun has kind of gone down around 9 p.m. and just enjoy the warmth sitting outside and not having it be humid. So I get to take advantage of that here soon. In the fall time, it starts to get colder. Sometimes it gets cold pretty quickly. It'll drop off from the 90s, 80s, 90s, 100-degree weather all the way down to 40s and 50s at night, and it's chilly. I know that right around Halloween time, it's been cold every year. So just know that it does get colder. The leaves all change colors and they are amazing. There's some different passes and places to go to see the leaves. So if you want to know more about that, you could comment below and I could link that, or you could just reach out to me and I could share with you some places to go see that. And then wintertime, first year here, it didn't really snow very much. It was awesome. I think there was like one day where we needed all-wheel drive for the whole winter time. Otherwise, you could get around with rear-wheel drive. My daughter has rear-wheel drive on her car, so I definitely know what it's like on the roads without all-wheel drive or four-wheel drive. And I highly recommend that you have one car that has all-wheel drive for sure in your family. or out of you guys, just make sure that one of it has it. You can do snow tires and just swap those out sometime November, December, and then swap back to your regular tires in March or April. Just depends on the year and how much snow we're getting. But there's ways to deal with that. We have some of the best road care I think anywhere in the nation as far as keeping our roads like safe and getting rid of all the snow and ice. They heavily salt the roads, they plow the roads. All of that works well for you to be able to get to work or get to the grocery store or anything like that. We did not have any trouble, even with the amount of snow we had this year, getting to the grocery store or getting anywhere we wanted to go. My son was working at In-N-Out Burger, so I had to take him this winter, and it wasn't any issue there, or to the movie theater, and it was, not really a challenge to get him anywhere. So that's winter. And then we have something called fake spring, usually, where it feels like it's going to be spring for like a week and then it goes back to winter time. So just know that could happen as well. Before I cover number 3 on the list, please subscribe to the channel. I release new videos twice a week, typically on Wednesdays and Saturdays, of the Salt Lake City area and all of Utah in general, the different surrounding areas. So if you could, just subscribe to the channel so that you're notified every time I do new videos. The number 3 thing on the list that you need to know is traffic and the grid system here. We have traffic here, but it's nothing like what I've dealt with in the past in Los Angeles and in Dallas and in Miami and Atlanta. They have real traffic. We have traffic. So if you talk to people, they're going to say the traffic is bad, but you can still get everywhere you need to get. It just takes a little bit longer than what it would normally. But we do have traffic in different parts, and a lot of the different cities, you're going to be taking side roads, so you're going to be stuck at a ton of lights, because we really have I-15 at Bangerter and Mountain View Corridor as our 3 main roads that are somewhat faster to drive on than anything else. And you're going to find Bangerter is better than Mountain View Corridor, because Mountain View Corridor, they haven't done any of the overpasses or underpasses yet. Hopefully they get started on those soon, because it takes a while to build them, and it's made Bangerter pretty amazing. Like when I go from where I live in Harriman all the way up to West Jordan, I have one place that I have to stop, and that's where they had the Big Daddy's Pizza that's now closed. But that one light you had to stop at, and once they redo that light thing, then it's going to make getting to West Jordan like really, really nice. And we go to Jordan Landing all the time because of the shopping that's there, a few of the restaurants that, and then they have a Best Buy there that, of course, I like to shop at. So there's a bunch of that shopping that's in West Jordan, that if you're going in the kind of the southwest side of Salt Lake City. Traffic, if I left now, went up to Salt Lake City, for instance, it would take me no time, less than 30 minutes, I could get to Salt Lake City. If I tried to go at 5 p.m., it might take me an extra 5 or 10 minutes to get up there. Coming back from there probably is a little bit slower. Maybe it's going to take me 45 minutes to get home instead of 30, but is 15 minutes really a big deal? No. And if I wanted to, I could drive to South Jordan to Daybreak and grab the tracks and take the tracks up to Salt Lake City. So really, I don't have to deal with that where I'm at. Or I could drive over to Draper and then take the tracks from Draper as well. So it really matters which area you choose to live in, how you're going to get around. And so that's the traffic part of number 3. Then you have the grid system. What I mean by grid system is most of the streets are laid out with a numbering system, like 1000 south and 1000 east, for instance. And that is in relation to the temples. And so once you kind of have figured out like how that system works, it makes it really nice. If I told you meet at 10,200 and 4,000, you would know pretty much where that is in your head. But when you first get here, it's terrible and it makes no sense, and you'll wish that streets were named numbers, because it's much easier, I think, to know street names than it is to know the numbers. But after you've been here, you'll start to realize that the grid thing helps you pinpoint where stuff is. I typically will ask what it's by. So you would tell me, oh, we're going to this Jersey Mike's and it's by the Shields in Sandy. So I know exactly where that is because I know where the Shields is. But if you told me the street number, that doesn't make as much sense to me. But now it would, because I know the numbering system and how it goes. and that the numbers get smaller as you get closer to downtown Salt Lake. So the further away you are, the higher the number. But you'll figure out the grid system once you're here, and then you'll appreciate it like I'm starting to. Number 4 on my list is Sundays. So Sundays here, half of the people are going to be going to church, half of the people aren't supposed to be shopping on Sunday, spending money on Sunday, causing other people to work on Sunday. And then half of the people can go out and shop and eat and do all the things that they want to do without half of the number of people. So for me, Sundays are a great day. I can do pretty much most of my shopping. I did find out that you can't buy a car on Sunday here anywhere in Utah. So know that you're not going to be buying a car on Sunday because they're closed and they don't have a way to register or deal with the cars on Sunday. So they are all closed down. You're not going to be able to get Chick-fil-A, but you're not going to be able to get Chick-fil-A where you are because they're closed on Sunday. You're going to find that different restaurants and businesses are closed on Sunday, so you'll just need to plan ahead. If you want to buy alcohol, you're not going to be buying that on Sunday. So once again, you're going to need to plan ahead as far as alcohol goes. And just to touch a little bit on alcohol, you're not going to be able to buy any sort of hard alcohol at the grocery store or gas station. You're going to be going to the state-run liquor store for all of that. And those are closed on Sundays and holidays. So just know that. Sundays are a great day if you're able to shop on Sunday just because the amount of people. Now, there are some negatives to shopping on Sunday. For instance, a lot of the time we've been to like Walmart or the grocery or Harmon's or Smith's and trying to get some of the groceries that you want, and they will be low on stock on Sunday because everybody went on Saturday and bought up a ton of the things, and then they just need to restock the shelves. So we don't really have a problem with not having items. It's more just the number of people that shopped and bought stuff. They just haven't had time to stock the shelves. And I'm sure that half of their workforce is not working on Sunday, so the amount of people stocking isn't as great as well. Number 5 thing on my list is something I didn't really think about before we moved here. No one mentioned at all, and that's the fact that we're not really close to any other major city. You're looking at, a 4.5, 5 hour drive up to Boise, Idaho, 7, 8 hour drive over to Denver, Colorado, 5, 6 hour drive down to Las Vegas, 10 hours to Los Angeles. So we don't have another major city. So you got Salt Lake City, and then we have, smaller cities, but there's no other major city that's close by. And not that it's been a problem, but it's just something I never really thought about and didn't notice till we moved here. And just wanted to share that with you. Number 6 thing on my list is the amount of rain that Utah gets. And we don't get a lot of rain. So this has been a huge blessing for me because in where we were in Nashville, it rained, it felt like every single day. And it doesn't rain like that here at all. If it rains, it typically rains for like 15 to 30 minutes, just enough for you to need to get your car washed. And one of the things that we saw the first year we were here is it would rain in the afternoon for 15 minutes or so, drop all these sprinklets on the car, and then the wind would blow all the dust around so your car looked dirty. And so we solved that by just getting a quick quack car pass. And so we just run it through the quick quack. Or they have a ton of different stalls that you can pull into and then swipe your card and then use it by the minute. So I do that a lot with my Jeep after I've been out on the trails, since it'll get a ton of dirt and mud and other muck on my car. And so I'll go through the stall to get that all cleaned up. But just know that we don't get a lot of rain. So if rain is important to you and you want a lot of rain, then Utah probably isn't the best area for you. It does rain a little bit more in northern Utah than it does here in the Salt Lake City area, but rain is not a big thing for Utah. Number 7 on my list is we have really easy access to a fantastic airport. I think the Salt Lake City airport is one of my favorite airports to fly out of. It's just super convenient, super easy to get to. Parking hasn't been an issue there for us, and just getting there to go through the checkpoints hasn't been like a super mess or madhouse. They have some great restaurants in there. You can get a Shake Shack. So if you want something that's semi-decent, then you have Pickup Sticks and Panera Bread. Some places you can't get either of those two anywhere else in the Salt Lake City area currently. Just know that there's some good food options there. One con to the airport, and that's if you get concourse B, you're walking about a mile to get to the concourse. They do have the moving walkways that you can use. They have this little cart system that holds, I think, 6 people, and they buzz that thing back and forth if you're there when they're running that. And then I've seen the guys that are pushing people in wheelchairs, and those dudes are cooking. They are moving way faster than I walk, and they just are zooming back and forth. I think one of the times watched the guy walk all the way down, and then he was on his way back before I even got down when I was doing the walk, because I think the walkways were busted. So you just know that that could occur, and Southwest is typically the airline for that. But you can get nonstop flights via Delta to most major cities, so it's pretty convenient to get around the U.S. Like I can get a direct flight via Delta to Nashville when I go back to visit, and you can get it to Las Vegas super easy, super cheap flights down to Vegas, which is nice. Although we've driven every time, we haven't done a flight yet, because by the time we go through the airport, check in, get out, get a cab or Uber to the airport or to the hotels, then you almost could have driven. And the drive is pretty nice. You can do 85 miles an hour the whole way. We just went to St. George over this last weekend, and I was able to do 90, I think, most of the way. So the drive was not bad at all. You only get 18 miles per gallon in a Jeep doing 90, so that's not good if you do. But yeah, so the access point of the airport is pretty awesome. You'll really like the airport. Typically, they don't have very many snow days or days where you can't fly out of, as opposed to Denver that shuts down all the time. So the Denver airport is nowhere near as good as our airport, though Denver you can fly to more places direct, but you deal with issues with their weather and stuff that we don't have typically in Salt Lake City. I want to thank you so much for watching this video. If you're thinking about making a move here to the Salt Lake City area or any of the surrounding areas, please make sure you get in touch with me. My information is here on the screen. I absolutely love it when you guys reach out to me. I've had a ton of people reach out lately over the past couple months saying, Greg, I'm moving to your area. Can you please help me find something? And I also love it if you'd give me a thumbs up on my video. Until next time, be rad.